and a third question, starting with Mr. Nolan.
Mr. Nolan, this is a two-part question.
I don't have a good memory.
I'll just read it first and you can answer the question.
Okay.
Give me an example of something negative our current administration has done and why you feel this way.
Okay.
And the second part being, give us an example of something positive our current administration has done and why you feel this way.
What type of time frame are you talking about? You say current administration, we've had a current administration for quite some time. We've had the same team in place. Are we talking this year?
Yeah.
If we're talking...
What we have this year in place.
What we have this year, so we're talking about this school year. Okay. Well, unfortunately, the administration, honestly, by themselves, I really don't think have done any one thing wrong because they really don't act on their own. They act with the board. Right, to bring up one thing that I don't understand happened was what's the best way to put this? 190 days pay for 190 days worth of work. Why those 2.5 days were added this year, the first year underneath contract, when it's been status quo for so many years? That's the one thing I don't understand. I agree with it, but I don't understand the timing of it. It created a certain element of uncertainty with the staff and administration, the staff and board. And up until this year, we worked so hard to try and unify that. It seems like that kind of became a bridge, a little rip in that. We have to work to get the staff and the administration and the board back together. As far as the second part, what have they done on the positive side? The board and the administration has been extremely fiscally responsible. We are so blessed to have Carolyn at our hand, at our disposal in this school. For all of you that don't know her, she's our business administrator who does just a magnificent job. She was put in some different times this year by explaining more and more to staff, so I'm sure there are some different feelings towards her, but her actual number, ability, and her ability to understand the laws and issues is second to none. So I'd say fiscal responsibility would be the number one thing with the administration.
Mr. Zunder, same question. Please give me an example of something negative our current administration has done and why you feel this way. And the second part being an example of something positive our current administration has done and why you feel this way.
I honestly don't have a lot of experience with what the current negatives and positives are, not having been involved that deeply with the school. One thing personally that I have noticed throughout my kids' education in the last year or two is the lack of the school homework policy. I feel it's been a negative to our students. I feel that is a poor level of communication to the parents to see what their kids do in a day-to-day atmosphere in their school without pulling information out of my child's day-to-day life. The parents have very little input what's going on with the kids in their school. I feel that's been a negative. On the positive side, all the teachers that my kids have been involved with in the school, it seems to me, have all had a very positive attitude about growth and helping kids, and I think that's an excellent positive for the school. All the teachers I've met have all had an excellent attitude towards helping our kids prosper and do better and that's a very positive thing I see.
Mr. Jones, please give us an example of something negative our current administration has done and why you feel this way, and also an example of something positive our current administration has done and why you feel this way.
Well, as far as something negative, I'm not at the school every day, and without bringing personal things to the level which should be done, I don't really know offhand a exact negative thing that the administration's done. Something positive I see is the fact that our school seems to be fiscally sound, that we don't really carry a debt. Everything seems to be running smoothly on that end as far as the financials go. And I want to see that continue forward, and that's something I'd like to continue forward and have a strong school. With funding being cut from every angle, you got to keep creating new ideas on how to keep all your staff happy, keep everybody employed, keep the community happy with a level of education. I think we have a great level of education here at our school, and I'm very impressed with all the teachers that I have worked with when I went to school here, and that my kid has been with for the short time that he's been at the school. So I think all in all, we have a great school and a great community, and I'd just like to keep continuing forward with that.
Thank you. Mrs. Mortensen? Allison, same question. Please give us an example of something negative our current administration has done and why you feel this way. And the second part, an example of something positive our current administration has done and why you feel this way.
Okay. I'll start with positive, if you don't mind. I think the positive for the school is the staff retention, the academic achievement, and the retention of smaller class sizes. I like all three. I think that one of the great things about Randall is that the class sizes have remained relatively small compared to other schools. As far as I know, I'm not privy to all the information, obviously, but as far as I know, staff retention has been good. I have not, I'm not aware of significant teachers being laid off and staff missing, and to me, every teacher we have at Randall is vital. Every staff member we have is vital. I know with the budget fluctuations, a lot of schools immediately cut staff, and I don't think that's the first place that should be looked at for lack of resources. So to me, that's a positive. Whether it's directly related to the administration, I have to give them somewhat credit because the administration is running the school, so I'm happy with that definitely. The negative, and I hope it qualifies for current administration, but at the board meetings, we have a policy that you have to give a 3-day notice to speak. I don't agree with that. At board meetings, spontaneous, not necessarily outbursts, but spontaneous comments may be helpful and useful to the meetings. I think it's a good idea for the public to be able to see the board meetings as a venue to voice their opinions, not to get excessive and extend the meetings hours and hours and hours, but to at least have an opportunity to make some sort of verbal opinion at that moment without having to give a 3-day notice that they'd like to speak at the board meeting. So that to me is somewhat of a negative for the school that I would definitely like to look into why we have that policy and see if there's any way to get that changed.